today's date and your name. Journal, today's date and your name. At the top of that paper, you're going to empower yourself before we get started. You're going to write, I'm a writer. You're going to write, I'm a wordsmith, or I'm an artist at the top of your page. However you want to identify yourself that empowers you to complete today's lesson. But just know you are a writer.
Can you hear okay, Emmett?
Can you hear okay?
Yeah, I can hear okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
good. Okay. Sometimes I know.
Move her in front.
Virtual lives matter. We got you, Emmett.
Is she gonna have to work in a group?
She will eventually.
Okay, I'll leave it there then.
Today's journal entry. You're going to look at this piece of art. You're going to write down 5 characteristics about that piece that just pop out to you. 3 to 5 would be fine. You can't find all 5. What sticks out to you? What do you notice? What mood do you get from this piece? These are some guiding questions that you can ask yourselves to find what sticks out to you. In a genre of your choosing, comedy, horror, drama, action, romance, you're going to write 5 to 7 sentences on a well-developed paragraph making a short story using this painting as your inspiration. You can, whatever story you want to tell about these 2 individuals, whether that be a dramatic story, whether that be a romantic story, whether that be an action story or a horror story, it's your story. You get to tell it about these 2 individuals. 1, how are you setting it? Do it again. How are you setting your tone? Details are your key in any story. Your story will not be complete in 5 to 7 sentences, so how do you plan on grabbing your reader's attention to want more from this story? Be creative, be silly, be serious, let it be whatever you want it to be as long as it's appropriate, please. You're 8th graders, by the way. You don't have to write like an 8th grader, you can make this your own, however you want to do it.
What was popular when I was an
Sorry, could I have the name of the artwork so I can look it up so I can see it better?
Starry Night.
It's not Starry
Well,
Night.
Oh, it's not?
It's not Starry Night.
It
I'm
looks
not
like
sure
Starry
actually
Night.
what the name, I found this on Google. I'll switch over because I'm going to give you my example real
Here,
quick.
let me show it.
So it's a lot larger on this end here. The stars illuminate the night sky like lanterns on the streets of heaven. We walk by the docks listening to the waves dedicate their song to us. We peered into the distance noticing the reflection of the city reaching toward us, lending their support in an age-long commitment that still feels so new. We felt like teenagers despite the wrinkles these hands possess. My heart is just as in love as the day we met.
Yeah, I can see that, thank you.
That's just my example. You make yours your own. This would be an example of more romantic, right? I made them old here. You can make them whatever age you feel.
Could you go back to the instructions?
Yeah.
Thank you. He's cooking.
about a minute and a half to finish up. If you need more time, just let me know. Still see some people writing. You can go ahead and continue writing until we get to the role play scenario, because you're going to use your journals today, role playing as authors. So next week we have Author's Chair. Right, Author's Chair is a judgment-free zone where your peers play a supportive audience as you read a submitted work of your own writing, of your own choosing. So this is just to prepare you for that next week. You'll see that you can use this piece of writing if you want to share it with the class that week, if you don't share it today. And then if you're done, pair yourselves in groups of 2. I should probably have one group of 3, and that's okay. We can probably use Emmett in the group of 3, and that's okay. So.
Yeah. I actually aimed down. I can't see this.
So we're going to meet the author. With your neighbor, you are going to share your journal entries. Now, person 1 is going to be the author. They're going to read their piece to you. Then person 2, you're the audience. You're going to write 2 things on your journal entry page that you want to know happens in the story based on the author's text. That really should be there. So essentially you're going to take their paper, you're going to write your name, and then you're going to input 2 pieces of information that makes you want to know more about what may happen in this story. Make sure you include your name on your partner's paper to receive credit. So if you'll go ahead and pair yourselves up in groups of 2, one group of 3.
Joy. We've decided.
Perfect.
You're so
That works
bad.
there.
You get
These
one.
2 here,
Oh, I got a tail for you, son.
here, someone can join this table if they want.
I think I have a pretty good score.
I think I have a pretty good score.
Red Rover, Red Rover.
Bring it in over. You may read, you want to read mine, or what we're supposed to be doing?
Remember, you're not looking for mistakes, you're not looking
Okay.
for
We should read each
judgment.
other's stuff.
Yeah, and then you're commenting 2 things that their story, you want to know about their story. Then you can go back later, when these journals are given back to you, and you can add to your story, if it gives you inspiration.
Do I write on your papers?
Yes, so you will write on the author's paper below their entry.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So we just add like 2 more sentences?
You can read mine.
Oh,
Or 2 more, no, so you'll go below,
I thought we
and you'll be
were
like,
reading
this
each
is,
other.
this is one thing I want to know about it.
That's romantic.
Oh, here's mine.
Sad.
As the young couple approached the water, they bumped
Drama
into
going on
each other.
As they waited for their boat to take them to their new life away, they took a moment to truly appreciate the home sad. When it was this beautiful place instead of the HE double hockey sticks.
Do we write two things about their story on our journal page or their?
On theirs.
Okay.
I wrote.
So it's almost like, not really feedback, but it's like a message to the author.
Okay.
Hey, these are some things in the story that I hope to find out as I read more.
Oh, I wanna know why it was,
And essentially, you're being supportive.
why
Why it was.
she died, yeah.
Why was it-
Why was their life?
And they don't have to be a full paragraph, they can be a question, they can be a concern,
Double.
they can just be a comment of, hey, this really grabbed my interest and I hope to read more of this if you continue to write.
Thank you.
Question.
I don't know. Why was there like HE double hockey sticks? I was just gonna continue right. Read to me.
They would meet at the docks in order to make the new deal. Tony looked up and noticed the sky was too clear and it didn't give them enough cover. Marco, Tony's assistant, also agreed that there wasn't enough cover. So when Tony and the other leader of the group had their meeting, Tony insisted on moving it to another location where they wouldn't be seen. The group agreed and they met in one of the hangars near the docks. And
What was the deal? What was the deal? No, I forgot to do.
My
Then
husband's
when you're
family
done,
from
make
the
sure you
grade.
swap roles
Label?
with your partner, and
What's
then
that?
they can
Yeah,
read.
this
Then you
this
read
makes people
again.
so mad
They
that
can
we
Why?
put label on our Wilson Central stuff,
Oh,
because when we're good,
When I was in
everybody wants to
eighth grade,
claim us.
when I was in eighth grade, the
But
Sopranos
when
was
we're
like
bad,
really
nobody wants to
popular.
claim us.
Emmett,
Except for
tell us.
Gladeville. And we're closer to Gladeville than we technically are Lebanon or Mount Juliet. So we started putting label on everything and it makes people lose their mind over it. We don't care.
do you know where Wright Bridge Estates is?
What is it?
Wright Bridge Estates.
No. When I went to Wilson Central, I lived over in Linda City in Mount Juliet. But now I just drive the car and ship there to coach.
White Bridge Estates was my husband's grandparents' property that his dad ended up selling when they died, and they developed it into White Bridge Estates. And there's a bridge there named after his uncle that was killed in the
What
war.
happened to the third person?
How'd they die?
They still have his grandparents'
Well, no,
home
that's
place
what you
property,
would
but they sold it to somebody, and they tore the house down. So that just broke their heart when they tore the home place down. So we went over and got bricks for all the children.
All right, pulling our attention towards the front. Does anybody want to share their piece for the class, or does anybody want to volunteer their author for the class? Yeah,
I want to read my piece.
perfect, go ahead.
As the young couple approached the water, they felt the need to take each other in their arms. As they waited for the boat to take them away to their new life away to safety, they took this moment to truly appreciate the home they once had. When it was this beautiful place, instead of the HE double hockey sticks it has been for the past month. I wrote hell, but we're in 8th grade, so.
Love it. I really thought you spelled out HE double.
I did write it underneath.
Oh, nice.
What did you want to know?
I vote this person to read next.
Oh.
What were your inquiries? What did you want to know about her piece?
Oh, what did I want to know?
Yeah.
I said, why was there live HE double hockey sticks prior to the event?
Right, these are people that are escaping, right?
They're escaping. This was their home before it turned to shit.
Yeah, it could be, this could be an immigrant story, right? And they're escaping to America, for a better life, the American dream. This could go any direction. That's a great cliffhanger there. It just makes you wonder who they are, where they come from. Go ahead, since you've been volunteered.
Oh, okay.
You gotta read it in the voice.
You gotta do that.
I'm used to it. I read my kids' bedtime stories.
Oh, I love it. In 8th grade? No.
Okay, we have a problem.
My little brother. They were there to meet at the docks in order to make a deal. Tony looked up and noticed that the sky was too clear and it didn't give them enough cover. Marco, Tony's assistant, also agreed that there wasn't enough cover. So when Tony and the other leader of the group had their meeting, Tony insisted on moving it to another location where they wouldn't be seen. The group agreed, and when they met in one of the other hangars near the docks, a deal was struck.
They didn't do it because it was easy, they did it because it was hard.
Sounds like the opening of a Columbo episode.
I like to
What's the deal, was my
The
question.
deal was they were trading their mother's lasagna recipes.
Oh, okay.
I wrote
Italians are
rice.
serious about recipes.
They
You
are.
don't mess around with Italian recipes.
I like to read.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright. As we walk by the still star reflected water, you would never have you would have never sensed the horror that would take place here on June 25th, 1969. The water and night seemed almost stuck in time as the stars lit the night sky. John and his wife often came to this lake to relax on summer nights, but they had no idea this would be their last night.
Wow.
Suddenly, as they sat counting each star, a tall man in a dark trench coat appeared upon them with a knife in hand.
Y'all are sinister.
Our 8th graders.
I want to keep reading, you know?
I'm gonna read.
We all really.
Let's do, yeah.
Yeah, I tell ya.
We said dark.
My wife and I lived a very good life right here on this dock. She may not remember it as well as I, but nevertheless we are both connected to it. Her mind is fading, but the one last time we are drawn to this starry night. The thought of losing her draws me mad, but we will have today. As we gaze into the stars, her beauty shines like the stars in the sky.
Okay, you just
Wow.
twisted the
He's
knife.
got Alzheimer's.
Dude.
Solace there. Wow. Go ahead.
That's pretty good. Alright, mine's a little worse than his, so. As John and Lisa were walking towards the shoreline, Lisa was taken aback by the beauty of the stars and the lights from the city. They calmly walked towards the boats, Lisa with the implied belief that she was being taken on a romantic boat ride. Right about the time she reached her hand that was trembling with excitement, she felt a sharp pain go through her body, culminating at the base of her skull. John had struck her with a large stick from the ground and began to bludgeon her to death. Lisa tried to gasp out for help, but her screams were drowned in gurgles of blood that filled her lungs. John had finally succeeded with his plan of murdering his third victim, as he was the Cape Town murderer.
You go.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Just put their camera on.
The only difference,
Got an Emmett reaction.
the only difference that separates some of you between
Those are
writers
your
and
parents'
authors
names?
is a publishment. These are really impressive.
That was Emmett's parents' names?
Both of
So-
those names.
Oh,
are
gee.
How did we
Hypothetically
use
killed
this
their
image?
parents.
Keep them away from the shoreline.
How did we use this image?
We all thought
Some
it
people need to
was,
stay away
okay,
from this
I
image.
wrote down it was calming, but I still went with a story that was like, this is what it was
Yeah.
like before hell happened, and everyone else decided to describe the hell that was there.
Yeah.
Y'all turned it into an episode of, what's the thing that the Oppenheimer guys own?
Peaky Blinders.
You wanna
Yeah, y'all made it sound like a scene from Peaky Blinders.
Go ahead. Oh, Emmett?
Emmett
Emmett
wants to
would like
share.
to share
first.
Oh, go ahead, Emmett.
And then I'll.
You're loud and clear.
Nice. Oh shoot, I wrote it in the notes. I wrote, we looked out into the still shining water, stars flickering and dancing across the surface in a chaotic dance. We both were still just like the water in our own mental dance, trapped, frozen in place. The boat in front of us rocks gently, the stars reflecting on the water dashing away, not daring to touch it or grace it with its light. For that boat and us, all three of us, on top of it that night. Now there are only two of us here, the third to be surrounded by the stars twinkling in light forevermore. We are undeserving of the light that shines on our skin.
That was really good. Emmett. Thank you
That was
for
much more
sharing.
positive.
They
than
died.
y'all.
That's a lot more positive.
What was the point of the painting? How did we use it?
Some people use it to set the mood. Some people use it to set the scene.
Yeah.
Some people used it kind of to start their narrative for the story.
What do you call it?
Huh?
What do you call it when it just draws you to set the mood or the story?
Motivate.
Motivates. What's another word for motivate?
Vocabulary's not very good.
What's it?
Starts with an I.
Inspired.
Inspire. Inspiration. So in order to write, you have to be inspired to write. That's why a lot of you have issues writing these TCAP papers. Is because they're not very inspirational. They're boring. But most of the students, or most people, love to write in narrative form. That's what we're going to talk about today. Today, you will discover your inner author through narrative style writing. You're going to use creative language to create a smooth progression of character experiences and events. And you're going to use descriptive language to effectively communicate mood, events, experiences, and dialogue to your reader. If you want to read the boring version, it's right here. Here are your empowerment statements. Who wants to read one? Let's go you in the front there.
I can define what a narrative is.
Perfect there. Yeah.
I can demonstrate narrative style writing.
Perfect there. And
I can communicate with an audience using details in my writing.
perfect there. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Susie Castle. You do not dare to try. You never will.
Why is the P falling?
Do what now?
Why was the P falling?
Oh, because you're cutting off the can't.
Oh, okay.
'Cause you can.
I didn't know that was. I thought that was an L, so I was like,
Oh.
I thought that was saying learn or something, and I was like, what's the T?
When he jumped, he used the T and it kicked it off the cliff.
Right.
Because it can.
Because he can.
What the hand does, the mind remembers. So writing is very important. Make the unseen seen. Writing is the ability to make internal thought, emotion, and ideas visible so we can better understand ourselves and make sense of the world around us. What is a narrative? It's a spoken or written account of connected events or a story. These are some examples of The Hunger Games, Insurgent, and Pretties. These are all dystopian narratives, whereas Harry Potter is more fantasy. The Hate You Give and Anne Frank would be historical narrative, right? So just because something is fiction or nonfiction does not mean it's not narrative. Narrative is how we write. It's telling a story from either first person or third person point of view, right? It reads as a story. You just got done writing miniature narratives. These are examples of narratives that I have. And so The Saints of the Household is about two brothers learning to survive their life having to protect their mom from an alcoholic father. One of the brothers is Alex and there's another name in there. But one of the brothers is an artist. Yeah, Max. So you have Alex and Max. So Max is more literal thinking. He's not much of an artist. He's, you know, actually no, sorry, Max is the artist because the author likes to portray him in writing either in poetry form, and they get really interesting. I wanted to show you this because the book reads like this. This is what writing can do. You know, like if you want to really be creative, like the author's like, Max thinks differently than his brother does. So his language is going to read more differently than his brother.
I can't tell that'd be fun
And-
or frustrating.
Yeah, which way do you read?
His brother uses art to escape the harsh reality that he lives in. And so that's what that is. Or this book looks extremely intimidating, right? It's what, like 400 pages, I think? Something like that? But the entire book is written in stanza form because the author
Oh,
is a poet. So you
and
can
he knew it.
kill these pages in no time. So it's not that interesting, although I really could not probably show this book since it's on the banned book list. So. All four. LGBTQ characters, people of color, things like that. But it's a great example of a narrative and being creative with writing. So now is the bread and butter of our lesson. We're going to write our own narratives using the inspiration. You're going to choose a prompt to write a short narrative about 2 paragraphs minimum. There is no magic in magic. It's all in the details. So it's important that when we're writing these, we are adding details to tell the story. Walt Disney. So you are going to choose a prompt. Any prompt that you want. Prompt 1 is you are a Civil War soldier who's in their tent writing a letter either in general or to someone. Describe your experience and think about what someone's final thoughts may be, not knowing if they will make it out alive. You may choose north or south if you choose to include those details. Prompt number 2, it's 1692. You are a woman on trial in Salem, Massachusetts, who may be burned at the stake being accused of witchcraft. What would your possible final words be? How might you feel in that moment? And prompt number 3, you have 3 options with this one. You're a Jewish individual on a train to Auschwitz, Poland, 1942. Write about your thoughts and experience in this time. Option 2, you are a German citizen who is hiding a Jewish family when you get a visit from the Gestapo SS. Or option number 3 is January 1945, you are a Holocaust survivor who witnesses the liberation of Auschwitz by Soviet forces. Whatever options you choose, make sure you put a name on your paper, mention the prompt number you are writing about, and meet the paragraph requirement. Yes?
Are we going to get to read these aloud to each other, or are we not?
If you want, if you would like. I also, if you're feeling up for a challenge, I have a surprise prompt as well. So if you're interested in prompt 1, I have some inspiration for you to go off of. If you're interested in prompt 2, they're written on the papers. You may come up here and look at them and grab them. And if you're looking at prompt 3, it's going to be 3.1 for option 1, 3.2 for option 2, and 3.3 for option 3 for that. But you may choose whatever you want. Go ahead and come up here.
What's the surprise prompt?
And how much time do we have?
If you're interested in the surprise prompt, do what?
How much time?
Which is,
Sorry there. It's 1932 during the Great Depression. 12 to 15 million people find themselves out of work, and poverty is abundant in the American streets. Mothers find it difficult to feed their children, while fathers are pressured to look for work that is scarce, so their families don't starve to death. Write a narrative about the president giving an uplifting speech over the radio to America's struggling population. Essentially, you're writing a fireside chat. If you're interested in that one, just raise your hand, because I can come back. It's pretty dark. There's a brief history in each of those that help inspiration. There are photographs to inspire you. And it's front and back, so if you've got a picture, look on the back there, there might be historical information.
oh, Nick, do you want to see a picture?
Oh, yes.
What prompt would you like?
Oh, I don't know which prompt is about,
Prompt 2 is about the Salem witch trials.
the fireside chat one.
Oh, perfect there. You can be my, there's that one there. No problem. You can be my IEP gifted student then. That's what that was made for.
Here's the picture.
Oh, I think it's this picture.
Yeah.
Here's more
Yeah.
pictures. And we have this one down here,
Oh, interesting.
and the prompt says, in 1932, the Great Depression, 12 to 15 million people find themselves out of work, and poverty is abundant in the American streets. Mothers find it difficult to feed their children, where fathers are pressured to look for work that is scarce.
Yeah.
So families
Yeah, those are,
So we
don't
can make a
starve
picture.
to death.
Okay.
you can make them,
Because
historical,
Write
yeah, they just be
narratives
historical
about the
fiction.
president
So there's
giving an
people in the back,
uplifting speech
and I'm
over
gonna make
the
a big
radio
person. Okay.
to American struggling population.
There's
So
a,
you're writing the
there's a
President
quote
Roosevelt's fireside chat.
Book Thief, which would be historical fiction.
I'll
So
get that
you just make your own
Okay.
story.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry, it's the Holocaust one. You got the Salem witch trials. I found it interesting with that one that 2 dogs were executed for being accused of witchcraft.
They executed dogs?
They shot 2 dogs during the Salem witch trials were executed because the neighbor had accused the other person's dog of trying to hypnotize him, trying to use witchcraft on him, and they blew the dog's brains out.
What the heck?
There were some really young witches. When we went to Salem,
Oh.
you know, we saw grave sites and everything.
Yeah.
There were some really young girls that
Children.
they executed
Yeah.
as witches. Oh, good Lord.
A great question was asked earlier. These do not have to be obviously fictional stories, or non-fictional stories. These can be historical fiction. So you just make it your own story based on historical events. If you have the Holocaust pop prompt, there is a quote in there from a piece from The Book Thief. That's historical fiction, where Anne Frank is historical
Banks
nonfiction.
began to panic. Bank run started in the spring. Let's see if there's anything else you need. By Inauguration Day in 1933, they ordered the remaining banks to close.
Is there anything that you want to read this real quick? What was the most inspiring thing about this one, this
FDR, as he was projecting the economy, energy, optimism, sorry about my optimism, and that's when he declared the unfolding fear, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Well, yeah, that's a good quote. That's a really famous one.
Oh, thanks. I did cherry pick these.
He had already addressed the nation and announced the first of 4-day
What
bank
prompt did you have?
holidays.
I do the Civil War.
Civil War.
Do you want to read it? 'Cause it doesn't bore you.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And during his first 100 days, he created the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation to protect depositors' accounts.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. And the Security and Exchange Commission to regulate the stock market.
That's really good.
All right, good knowledge. I'll write this in.
Thanks for coming to class today. Is there anything you're drawing, like your inspiration from? Anything like
The
particular?
crucible.
Oh, yeah.
And I really want to read mine aloud.
I saw that one, I saw that one being taught, you know, and I want to say it replaced the Scarlet Letter, didn't it? Because I don't really touch.
You can integrate the Scarlet Letter, you can integrate the play teaching, and you can also integrate how it corresponds to biblical teachings. You know, not for religious purposes, but
Right.
how it does correspond to the teachings of the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
It's
That was-
interesting.
I love Nathaniel Hawthorne. Then what prompt did you choose?
I had the Civil War prompt.
Oh, nice as well.
What else was it? McCarthyism. How Nathaniel Hawthorne and McCarthyism paralleled.
This is really good. Civil War. Did you like that one better?
First, yeah, this one.
Oh, yeah, hiding.
It's harder to read. Stop.
Oh, nice, okay. Man, I think a lot of people are either cleaning up or getting finished. Did anybody want to share theirs?
Yes.
Right here.
Oh, I cannot.
Go ahead. Oh, I cannot.
Okay. Wait. Okay. So, just so you know, here's a little context. I'm assuming. I imagine her in the news as she's making these statements. In the news, on like the thing, and like, what's her final words? And here's what she says. So here I am, finally put on trial in a noose when I have been rotting in that cell for days. It could have been weeks at this point. I was told in the cells by the others that if I just confess, I won't be burned at the stake. But I will not stand by and lie about what I have done. I have committed no unholy acts against the church. I have served this community for as long as I have lived, and I am disgusted at what you've done. When the people in the future write books or maybe even plays about this moment, I want to make sure my name goes down in those history books. I am Elizabeth Proctor, and don't you forget it. I spit on thee. Dead.
I love it.
Because all I have is my name.
That's fantastic.
At the very end, she gets hung because they said, shut up. That's not in the Crucible. Just so you know.
If they were gonna redo Charles Dickens' like ghost story, maybe they can do it like with the Salem witch trials. You'll be visited by 3 witch ghosts. That's a really good narrative. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else want to share theirs?
I'll share that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yours was really good.
I did the Civil War prompt. Dear Betty, it is with great love and admiration that I am writing you today. I miss you and our children and cannot wait to see you again. You have no idea what I have been through, but what I can share with you is this. I've witnessed much death, and I am scarred with the image every time I close my eyes. The food isn't great, and I miss the meals you would prepare each night. I'll write you again as soon to ensure you of my survival. With much love, Daniel.
Do they die?
That's really good.
I don't picture him dying, no.
Okay, so he doesn't die. You gotta imagine the future. My girl's dead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did anybody else have this one?
Did anybody else have the train to Auschwitz? I don't think anybody else did.
Okay.
We had a.
The train arrived late at night. My wife and children were taken from me. I do not know where they were keeping them. Shortly after the train arrived, we were forced to enter the cattle car. It was cold, dark, and had the stench of death. The soldiers did not tell us where we were going, but laughed as they crammed us into position. We had already been standing for hours, and standing in the cattle car for an additional 7 was hard to bear. The cattle car had windows, which enabled us to see where we were going. Many of us had accepted our fates as the scene of tall chimneys and black smoke were slowly getting closer. This could only mean one thing, and that was a painful death.
That was great. That was really good.
Very good.
I feel sorry for him.
You should have an exit ticket quiz/survey in front of you. If you'll go ahead and complete that. And Emmett, did you want to share yours? You're the only one who had the fireside chat.
Oh man, it's kind of bad, but I can share it.
I'll go ahead. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not terrible.
Okay. I wrote, my fellow Americans, I come to you to speak about the hard times that we as a collective nation have followed upon. Do not despair, things will be well. I and our fellow government representatives have been working diligently to ensure that order is restored and that those in power with their hands on money and transactions are more regulated, so that economical tragedies such as this one will never happen to our nation again. We will rebuild and restore our country for a better, brighter future for tomorrow.
That was really good, Emmett. You were worried. I want to vote for your 3rd term.
see, the exit tickets, it has defined metaphor.
Narrative narrative writing is.
Uh-huh.
That's not it. That's not the exit ticket.
Oh, that's not, I'm sorry.
That is,
Where's the,
the exit ticket is
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
The exit ticket, I'm sorry, it's not defined metaphor. It's in your own words, what is narrative writing? What narrative writing is.
Okay, anything else?
List 3 novels you have read, want to read, or have heard of.
Okay,
What helps writers communicate effectively in their writing?
okay,
What helps prevent or even cure writer's block?
okay.
In brief, detailed paragraph, what made you choose the narrative prompt that you chose? Did you have writer's block? Were you able to draw inspiration from anything in your writing? How helpful was the handouts in aiding inspiration? What were your biggest challenges writing the prompt? Please include your feedback.
Cool.
the paragraph.
When you're done, you can turn in your journal entries and your exit ticket.
Hand hurts.
I know that much writing them all.
Yeah. I'm used to typing.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah. You don't have to. You want to keep it. I really just need the exit ticket for the feedback.